Hi everyone, it's Mr. Myoran. Welcome to the Monday Morning Message with Mr. Myoran. What we're going to do this week is a quick review of last week's measures with different tempos and following those measures to the click track or to a metronome. I'm going to use 120 beats per minute on my metronome and I'm going to clap along. And you're going to see how I put those 8 measures together without stopping. So watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. And there we go. And that's putting all 8 measures together, which was the grade 6 assignment. I'll turn off a metronome here. All right, so what we're gonna do this week is we're gonna talk about timbre. Timbre is talking about the sound of the sound. Sometimes they call timbre note color or sound color. I'm going to focus more on using words to describe the sound of a sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to the computer and I'm going to play some different sounds. I'm going to keep it the same volume, the same pitch, but I'm going to use different sounds and we're going to talk a little bit about ways to describe those sounds. Now remember, for this week's work, when you're describing, no matter what grade you're in, I don't want you to say things like, oh, that's a cool sound or that's a loud sound. Not so much. What I want you to do is try to think of some other describing words. This one's a little tricky. If you're creative and you're on the right track, don't worry, you're doing well. Let's have a listen here. All right, so what we're going to be doing this week is talking about timbre. And timbre describes the sound of a sound. So let's have a look here. I've got a few different instruments set up. We're going to use the same pitch and same volume of each of these instruments. And what we're going to do is we are going to essentially describe the sound of the sound. We're going to use some words to describe it. Now, remember, we're not talking about loud or quiet, things like that. We're going to be talking about specifically the sound of a sound. We might say it's clear sounding. We might say it sounds echoey, buzzy, wavy, things like that. That's the words what you want to use for this. So let's start off with our piano. So here we go. So piano. Now I might say that sounds clear. I might say it has a bit of reverb on it, but not echoey, not bouncy. That's pretty clear sounding. All right, let's move down to this one called the final lead. It's a type of synthesizer. Let's hear what it sounds like. Now, I might say that sounds wavy or buzzy. Let's listen. Yeah, I would say wavy, buzzy, things like that. All right, let's go down to our Glockenspiel. So this is like the kind of like the little mini xylophones that we bring around to different classes. So let's listen to this one. I might say that sounds sharp. Kind of a piercing sound. It's also clear, but it is fairly sharp sounding. Like to my ears, it sounds like a sharp sound. All right, let's check this one out. This is a tenor sax. Now, tenor sax is part of the woodwind family. And in woodwind instruments, you often put a little piece of wood, which is called a reed, on the mouthpiece, which makes a sound. So often you hear the term, it's a reedy type sound. But you might think, what does that even mean? Well, here's the sound of a saxophone. And combination of the wood and combination of the air going through makes a sound like this. All right, has a bit of a buzz too, yeah. But I would say that's reedy. That's the type of sound, a reedy type sound. All right, this one's called buzzing bells, but to me it doesn't sound very buzzing. Let's listen. Say it's kind of echoey, bouncy. Kind of cold sounding. It makes me think I'm in a cold kind of room. And let's go down to this one, hard rock. Obviously, it's an electric guitar. Let's hear it. Sounds a bit rough sounding, a bit distorted, maybe grungy sounding. That's the type of words you want to use. So this week, I want you to find some different objects, like it says in your lessons, depending on your grade. And I want you to use words to describe the sounds of their sounds. Now remember, we're not saying it's loud or it's cool or it's quiet, things like that. We really want to focus on giving description words to these sounds. All right. Again, bouncy, clear, echoey, rough, things like that. That's what we want to use for this. All right, everybody, have a great week.